Hi, I'm Roger Montgomery and welcome to this week's Video Insight. Recently, the Montgomery Small Companies Fund has generated strong returns investing in some of the beneficiaries of the work from home phenomenon. But when the global economy reopens further, there will likely be many more sectors returning to growth. Of course, the arrival of a COVID vaccine would be a major catalyst for a re-rating of these companies, which is why we have been putting some effort into the identification of investments that can function as vaccine or reopening insurance for our portfolios. When mobility restrictions were imposed, they drove a tsunami-sized wave of changing consumption patterns. Stores forced to close faced a difficult decision about whether it was financially viable for them to reopen. But, as we've previously reported, online sales accelerated rapidly and digitally agile e-tailers are still recording extraordinary jumps in volumes, revenues and profits. Spending on services such as travel and entertainment, however, ceased, and the dollars that would have previously been spent on these services was also redirected to goods. You may have seen some of this spending shift or contributed to it yourself. Queues of people lining up to buy bikes, wine sales, luxury cars, gardening products, and the jump in second-hand car prices all point to a shift to spending on goods for home improvement, domestic travel, and self-treating. We expect when restrictions ease, however, some of this spending on goods should be redirected back into the services sector, and investors probably need to have some exposure to the possibility of this mean reversion. Of course, the opportunity set is broader than this, but we think travel, tourism, hospitality, and international education are sectors most leveraged to a reopening. Others include select retailers, media and advertising outlets, and even REITs. In fact, in just the last few weeks, our channel checks revealed discounted free-to-air TV advertising slots, as well as an uptick in spending in some categories, has attracted new companies to become advertising clients. In thinking about how to position for the possibility of a vaccine and/or a reopening, we're looking for companies that are winners in sectors that have had their outlooks impacted through no fault of their own by COVID. In other words, the survivors within sectors hardest hit could emerge the strongest in the event of a vaccine announcement or an effective reopening strategy. It's worth thinking about companies that will emerge from the pandemic in stronger competitive positions, particularly those that can take share from weakened competitors and those that could possibly become consolidators. Companies that have cut their costs, that have put their balance sheets in great shape, and with management on the front foot in anticipation of a reopening, should make the most of the changed circumstances for their investors. So think about those companies, not that you think might do well, but that are run by businesses and management who know they're going to do well. Some areas to focus on here are service companies, travel companies, and perhaps those exposed to domestic holiday and business travel. Corporate travel management was a strong business pre-COVID, organically growing around 20% per year as it took market share from lesser technology-enabled incumbents. And the absence of a capital raising during the pandemic probably also puts to rest much of the criticism of the company's skeptics. The business has been hit by mobility restrictions and border closures. However, the company has avoided an emergency capital raise, unlike many if not most of its peers. And it has reduced its cost base, so it's positioned to return to profitability on a domestic recovery alone, with international travel representing cream on top. Investors should also keep in mind that more than 80% of revenues are generated internationally, where holiday travel and NGO travel almost appears normal. The market opportunity for corporate travel is also very large, worth US $1.5 trillion, and the company's relatively small 1% market share gives it a very long runway for growth. We also like the capital-light, technology-rich business model, and as I've noted, we expect the company to take significant market share from a weakened competitor set on the way back. The COVID-19 disruption could also accelerate consolidation opportunities, and if so, it isn't unreasonable to think of corporate travel as a consolidator. Of course, all of this information is general in nature and not intended to be personal advice. You must seek and take personal professional advice before engaging in any securities transactions. I look forward to speaking to you again very soon, and in the meantime, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter.